Today's reading comes from Philippians, where it talks about variety of gifts and service, and I decided to come back here into our technology booth to illustrate that. Paul writes, "Now there are varieties of gifts, but the same Spirit, and there are a variety of services, but the same Lord. And there are varieties of activities, but it's the same God who activates all of them in everyone. To each is given a manifestation of the Spirit for the common good." Now I'm going to turn off the lights, and then I'm going to turn on so you can see all these lights light up, because a variety of gifts help us to bring a worship service to you on Sundays, thanks to volunteers who are trained and make sure it gets done. So I'm going to turn off the lights, and then I'm going to turn on the sound booth lights so you can see what it looks like. Here we go. Turn off the lights, and one switch starts the whole process. And you're going to see a bunch of lights start coming on. There we go. And then you've got monitors, and then these monitors aren't even on yet. Tell you all the different things that go on to make a service happen. But more importantly, when it comes to the variety of gifts that he's talking about, it has to do with the common good, and not just here at church, although again, a variety of gifts and services, but it's the same Lord. Whether you're preaching, whether you're running the sound system, whether you're in the choir, or whether you're in the congregation. Even if you can't sing a song in a bucket, doesn't matter. Your gift there is your presence. This pastor, William Schwein, says this. He says, "One of the tasks of the church," and this is something we've talked about here, "is to help a person discover, develop, and deploy her or his God-given gifts." The word deploy certainly rings a bell around here, with Pastor Justin being deployed. And the church is to help each person discover, develop, and deploy his or her or his God-given gifts. "Too few of us," he writes, "have any idea that there are so many ways that the church can use our gifts. These gifts are more than our talents and abilities." And he has good distinctions. He says talents tend to serve the person who possesses them, as in hobbies and careers. Spiritual gifts, on the other hand, are other-directed. When a congregation helps persons understand they are gifted, it ends up with a teaching, healing, giving, helping, administrating, evangelizing force that ministers powerfully to the community and to the world. And certainly you do that here at Calvary. And then he goes on and he says, "There's not a single person here who has not been given a gift for ministry." And there's not a single person watching this broadcast. Gifts are widely different, rather than institute a professional clergy who must do all of it. And you know what? We'd be dead in the water. We're the priesthood of all believers. He says God gifted a church in which all serve together. The preacher isn't the only one who teaches, evangelizes, and witnesses. It takes all of us to do that. No person can have it all or do it all. In Paul's days, the titles apostles, prophets, teachers, and pastors did not refer to ordained ministers as we know them today. They were all individuals. They were all lay people who were called and gifted for ministry. And then he goes on and he says, "What do you do when you receive a gift? Toss it aside, ignore it, use it once and discard it? Sometimes we are nothing more than packages containing gifts that need to be unwrapped." And Michelangelo had quite a quote, he says, where he says, "An angel wanted to come out of the stone." And And then it goes on, discovery and recovery of the whole idea of gifts can move us from always asking, what can I get, to asking, what can I give? Too many of us in the church ask, what's in it for me, rather than what's in me for it. Boy, I'm probably going to use this on Sunday. This is so good. And then he goes on and he says, you may have wrapped up your gift or buried it aside, or put it aside, or buried it like the 1 talent servant in Jesus' parable. You might need to hear what Paul wrote to Timothy. Do not neglect the gift that is in you. And I remind you to rekindle the gift of God that is within you. And it is time for you to unwrap your gift. You think about it, Christmas is over, we unwrap the gifts. And it's the same now when it comes to the gifts of our time, talent, and ability. And again, it takes a village, it takes a body, it takes so many people with so many gifts to make this ministry go. It's the way God designed it. May God bless you as we head into the weekend of this Epiphany, and what kind of a God we have. Jesus, who changed water into wine and gifts us to, in a sense, adds value to us, value added, like the difference between water and wine, gives us gifts for the world's good. So I'm going to move aside here for a minute so you can see again the people that are gifted to run this sound system, all of this amplification, and then over here, the cameras that capture our service on Sunday. Enjoy the view.